I'm sorry I didn't post a video yesterday. Fun fact, it was actually my birthday, so there's my excuse, alright? Welcome to Tonikaku Kawaii Chapter 180, brought to you by Tonikaku-CHAN. Thank you very much, alright? Maybe, hopefully for once, you're finally going to give us consistency, but then again, I should probably keep my hopes a little down. I have nothing really interesting to say, so let's just jump right into the chapter. This chapter takes place right after 179, alright? So we actually find out what Kaguya, was shocked to find. Turns out it's just a door, okay? So she looks at this door, right? And she's very confused on why it's there, right? So she decides to ask Chitose, hey, Chitose, why is there just like a door? Like, right here? Like, what's going on with that, right? Chitose, she looks at Kaguya and she's like, you think I know this? Girl, this is my second time being here, okay? I barely know this mansion at all, right? So Kaguya, she's like, oh, okay, sorry. It's like, sorry I didn't, offend you, right? But in her mind, she's like, I wonder what's behind that door, okay, right? Because, she's like, I wonder what Tokiko did behind that door, right? And, after she's done thinking about that, Chitose and Kaguya get their ingredients that they were asked by, I believe, TSUKASA-CHAN, and they decide to go upstairs. So the girls, they actually get the ingredients and they go upstairs and give them to TSUKASA-CHAN, right? Turns out, TSUKASA-CHAN has already had, some rice that she brought, alright? So the food situation has basically been handled, alright? But Chitose, she starts talking with TSUKASA-CHAN and she's like, listen, the food is fine, we're fine with that. I'm pretty sure we have enough food for that. It's just, how are we going to go to sleep, right? TSUKASA-CHAN, she's a little confused. She's like, what do you mean by going to sleep, right? So, turns out, there are 6 people that are going to sleep at this Kiyomaru mansion. The problem with that is that there's only 3 futons. So, TSUKASA-CHAN, she's like, oh, yeah, no, that really is a bad idea, huh? Right? But, before they're going to think of a plan, suddenly one of the high school girls, she just walks in out of nowhere and she's like, don't worry about it. I have a plan. You don't have to worry about it, right? They look at her a little weird. They're like, okay, sure, why not, right? So it turns out that the high school girl is basically going to go to sleep with the other high school girl, all right? And that's basically solved, all right? Kaguya doesn't really care with who she's going to sleep, right? So she could probably go sleep with Chitose, right? And, Chitose, she really doesn't like the idea, but we'll get to her later, right? And, the high school girl, she's like, and that means, okay, you get to sleep with NASA and have your little night exercises. Now, she doesn't actually say night exercises, but we can put 2 and 2 together, right? So TSUKASA-CHAN, she starts blushing, and Chitose kind of just goes ballistic, all right? She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, we are not doing that, okay? You outsiders and your wacko plan, okay? First off, I don't even know if Kaguya wants to actually do that, right? So we get Kaguya, she's like, yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Sure, why not? Okay, Chitose, she's like, oh, no, you weren't supposed to say that. You were supposed to agree with me. No. Kaguya takes this opportunity and decides to confront TSUKASA-CHAN about the door, right? So Kaguya, she's like, so TSUKASA-CHAN, I noticed that there was actually a door underneath the basement, and I was wondering what's actually, on the other side of that door, right? So TSUKASA-CHAN, she takes a little moment, she's like, it's a secret passage, okay? Kaguya, she's surprised. She's like, a secret passage, right? TSUKASA-CHAN, she explains herself, it's like, yeah, it's more or less just kind of like an emergency exit, okay? It's not bad or anything. It connects to the outside, okay? Don't worry about it. It's not that bad, okay? Just don't bother looking into it, okay? Right? So that's where that ends off, right? So Kaguya, she's like, oh, no, she's fucking lying. She's lying. I know it. We cut to it being the nighttime, okay? So everyone has eaten their food, alright? And we cut to High Schooler 1 and High Schooler 2, alright? Still, I have not remembered their names, not because they're not important, it's just because I don't really feel like it, okay? So they're talking to each other, right? They're like, damn, TSUKASA-CHAN makes the most fire fucking food in existence, alright? They're like saying that this is the most, best shit of all time, right? So, they get past the food, right? And they suddenly start talking about, the whole sleeping situation, right? One of the high school girls, she's like, it's just gonna be a little weird, with, Nass is basically gonna be sleeping in his wife, right? The other girl, she's a little confused, she's like, what do you mean by that? That seems like a pretty normal thing, right? So suddenly, she's like, don't you think they're gonna start doing their night exercises, alright? Now, if you didn't understand that innuendo, it means sex. Okay, innuendo over, right? So the other high school girl, she's like, she's blushing uncontrollably, she's like, okay. God damn it, what is your problem, you crazy woman, alright? She's like, I highly doubt they're gonna do their night exercises, alright? She's like, I mean, we're here. I highly doubt they're gonna do that, right? But the high schooler girl, the other one, she's kind of down bad, okay? Really down bad, alright? But she's like, but what if they actually do it, right? Dead ass, okay? This girl is like, don't you think that's kind of hot? Like, see, this is why horny teenagers were a bad idea, okay? This is why horny teenagers are bad, okay? That we are just the worst thing in existence, right? Right? So it's like, so they get past talking about that, right? And, the high schooler girl one, she's like, actually, hold on, where is Kaguya, right? Because, Kaguya kind of hasn't been anywhere, right? So the other one's like, oh yeah, no shit, you're right, where is she? Alright, so we actually cut to Kaguya. We cut to Kaguya. She is right in front of that secret door underneath the basement, right? She's about to open it when suddenly TSUKASA-CHAN, she just teleports out of nowhere. And she's like, I told you not to worry about this door, didn't I, right? Kaguya, she's a little surprised. She's like, oh, it's just you, TSUKASA-CHAN, right? So Kaguya, she starts talking about Tokiko, right? She's like, for the mansion that's supposed to look very old and decrepit, it seems that Tokiko spent a lot of money trying to hide something. I think that's on the other side of the door, right? But TSUKASA-CHAN, she's like, I mean, even if that was the case, which it obviously isn't, this isn't kind of your thing to get into, This isn't your own, this isn't your own home, right? But Kaguya, she's like, oh yeah, no, I know. I know this isn't something I'm supposed to do, but I don't care, okay? Because Kaguya is one of those persistent fuckers, alright? She will do everything in her power to get what she needs done, right? So she's about to open the door when suddenly, high school girl number one basically just comes in and goes absolute ape shit, okay? She goes ape shit, She starts grabbing Kaguya's ponytails and she's like, oh my god. How many times do I have to tell you, stop looking through people's houses? This isn't your house. No comprende, bro? Like, what's going on here, right? So basically, the high school girl is basically chewing out Kaguya, right? TSUKASA-CHAN, she's there just like, okay, yes, you have fun with that, right? So it turns out she was a very loud individual, right? Turns out everyone just found out, right? So they go down the basement, and Asa looks around, he's like, are you guys okay? TSUKASA-CHAN, she responds, yeah, no, I'm fine, don't worry about it, okay? So she redirects herself to Kaguya, she's like, okay, listen here, Kaguya, alright? You seem to be very interested in this, and you know what? Fine. I'll let you open the door if you want, right? Kaguya, she's very surprised. She's like, oh, wait, really? I can, right? But TSUKASA-CHAN, she's like, but listen. I cannot control what is on the other side of that door, okay? So don't you dare get mad at me, all right? What you might find there might be super helpful or might be super useless, and that it's actually going to be very disappointing, all right? Just hear me out, right? So basically, they still open the door and they go through. They get to like this one clearing, all right? And it is chock full of just graves. And there's also the moon, so, plot relevance, right? So, they're looking around. They're like, Jesus Christ, there are so many graves in this area. What the fuck, right? So, they're looking around, all right? High school 1 and 2, they're complaining, I guess, about, the fact that everything's so old and grumpy. Well, they're not complaining. They're more or less shocked that this grave site is basically behind this mansion, all right? So Kaguya, she's looking around, and she finds something that catches her eye, right? And let me just grab my laptop here, all right? She's like, hey, that's the grave marker of Shizuka Gozen, all right? So let me pull up the Wikipedia article for her, all right? I'll just put it up as well. But basically, Shizuka was a very famous Japanese woman, alright, very famous, alright. In the 12th century, she was a court dancer to, and also a mistress to, this Japanese guy that I'm not going to bother saying his name because I don't feel like butchering it, okay? That's not what we like to do on this channel because it makes me feel bad, okay? So, Kawaii, she explains what I basically just say. She's like, yeah, so she was kind of the mistress to this old Japanese guy, right? So, apparently the guy died like 800 years ago, okay? And Shizuka, all right, she basically disappeared, okay? Out of nowhere. She's gone, okay? Ever since the guy died, she disappeared, and no one knew where she went. No one knew where she was, right? And while this is, while Kagi's actually saying this, we get a picture of TSUKASA-CHAN right next to those bubbles. Do you have anything to explain yourself, TSUKASA-CHAN? I'm just kidding. It's probably a red herring more than anything because, This is Tonikaku Kawaii we're talking about. I highly doubt that this is actually true, alright? This is definitely red herring activities on Hada, because this is Hada we're talking about. This is the most Hada thing he can do, alright? And that is the end of chapter 180, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Personally, I actually did enjoy it very well. Hopefully, that's just a red herring, alright? Because if it isn't, I'm not going to get mad or anything. If the guy died 800 years ago, so what? It doesn't matter to the story, right? But, last time someone did that, I don't remember the series off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there was a series where, like, this author basically was like, oh, so the love interest to my main character? Yeah, so it turns out she had a relationship with someone else before, she met him, right? And apparently the fans went fucking ape shit on that and basically just dropped the series. So hopefully we're not going into that territory, because if that's the case, well, what am I going to do about it? Nothing. I'm just going to still talk about this series, just with the fact that, oh, fun fact, TSUKASA-CHAN may or may not have been in a relationship with someone, like, before NASA, but I highly doubt it, like I've said. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I have nothing interesting left to say. I hope that you enjoy, and goodbye!